How are we? Welcome to this week's episode of Heads and Laughs, where sports, mental health, debates and comedy are unscripted. Settle down with your hosts Gareth and Nathan. Let's get stuck in.
Hey Nath, what's your thoughts on red top milk?
Red top milk?
Red top milk, yeah.
Well, it's the worst one out of the ball, really, isn't it?
Is it something you store in your fridge?
No. You?
Nah, I mean, I think some people are like red top milk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just like boring and bland as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you'd rather talk to the fucking wall behind you rather than people like that. And I think, like, you know, whatever cows that milk must come from initially, I've got something severely wrong with them.
Yeah, all called Karen.
Or they are all called Karen, yeah. Karen and
Now,
Steve.
You've asked me what colour milk I have in my fridge, if I have the red one. What colour do you actually have in your fridge?
Green. Green
Yeah.
milk. I know if you've got babies, it's different because they need full fat milk, don't they?
I suppose the green one is the one where like you're trying to be a bit healthier, but full fat milk's the best. If we're being serious, like.
I think it's just because it's blue. I think if that was the red one, I'd be all right. I'd probably have it, you know.
Not in our case, like, do you know what I mean? The full fans.
Yeah, of course.
Right,
How are we?
anyway, I'm good. How are you? I was about to ask you the same question. How are you?
Sound, yeah. It's been warm today, hasn't it?
Yeah, very warm.
I've footy training before with the girls. Fucking hell, sweating me tits off.
It's weird, the weather in England, isn't it? Like 1 minute it's pissing down, the next minute it's roasting. We're getting in towards like the end of summer now.
Proper summer weather. Can't make its mind up.
Like, I was talking about this the other week, and Lewis is going back to school in just over 2 weeks. He's been off now for about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and literally through the whole course of the summer, the 6 weeks holidays, as we call it in England, the weather's been terrible, and now they're starting to get ready to go back to school. The weather's been absolutely, well, it's getting better, isn't it?
It was sounds like June, wasn't it? And then it's just been absolutely miserable. Fucking probably halfway through July, all the way through August up to now. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Right, we are going to be doing a Q&A a little bit later on, but we have got one question that we're going to answer to start off with. Again, if you're not following on all the social medias, make sure you go and check them out so you can ask us questions, give us topics to talk about, debates, all that good stuff, and obviously you'll be able to hear about anything going on in regards to the podcast or any content that we're doing there first as well. But I've got one question that we're going to answer now. Like I said, the rest will be later, but because I thought this was a good question, to be fair. We've asked it a similar one quite a lot on the stream. But if you could eat one meal, one packet of crisps, one chocolate bar, and one drink for the rest of your life, what would it be? And this is from Peter Elliott.
He didn't write that in himself. Not a chance he wrote that himself.
No, he got his bear to write it, like, but
definitely did. So one meal and then plus a sort of like meal deal.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a tough one, that, isn't it, on the spot? Like, you know, when we said this was unscripted, you could have given me a bit of an inkling.
Yeah, well, I already know mine because I've answered this question about 1 million times, so I'll go first. My meal would be a bowl of Scouse with tiger bread with loads of butter on.
Oof.
That just reminds me of being a kid. Obviously, everyone would be sitting there going, "Oh, why would you want that? It's boring. You've had it loads of times, probably. Why didn't you get like a Mackey's or something you've never had before or whatever?" You know, I'm assuming that I'm going to be eating this because I'm on death row or like I'm going to die for whatever reason. So I want to eat something that's going to give me a little bit of a little flashback, throwback to when I was younger.
Bit of a homely feel to it.
Yeah, exactly. A packet of crisps, probably the easiest one. Chili Heatwave Doritos, chocolate, again easy. Kinder Bueno, normal chocolate. Drink. The drink one's probably the hardest because I've got two. Now, if someone like had a gun to me head and I had to pick one, it'd be close between Cherry Coke and Vanilla Coke, but I'd just go with Cherry Coke.
Vanilla Coke, lads, you're scumbag, you know.
Again, it's something else reminds me when I was younger. Like I get like little nostalgia feelings of drinking it when I was younger. Playing football on the field at the top of Wimbledon used to live called '𝕊𝕡𝕠𝕣𝕥𝕤.
No wonder you couldn't fucking play if you was drinking that.
And then we go afterwards. It's like, and I can always envision it in my head now. Like I go to my hands, it'd be getting dark. So you give me like £4 or something. I'd go to Chippy, order salt and pepper chicken wings. You get 8 for £2.50. Now you're paying about £7 for 8.
Yeah, all day.
And I'd go on the off license next door, and I'd buy a Galaxy Liaison, and a can of vanilla Coke or cherry Coke.
And 2 litres of Frosty Jacks.
What, at 12 years old? What'd you say before that?
Well,
Well, yeah. When we get into the podcast episodes, you'll that might be a joke that you'd understand a bit more. What would yours be then? What would your meal be? Last meal. You're dying tomorrow. You got one meal.
Yeah, I think my actual meal it's probably a boring answer, but I just love a pizza, lad.
Yeah.
And I just lash every single topping on it that I love. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to be sick, fuck it, doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
If it comes out with me wants to fucking, I'm hook, line and sinker, then doesn't matter either. Someone else can clean it up. So yeah, I'll go for the pizza. Barbecue base.
Yeah, but where from though? Like, have you got anywhere specific? Because there's a massive
Not necessarily, no.
Pizzas.
I mean,
favorite.
Domino's is sound because it's at the house within like 20 minutes. It's probably one of the quickest delivery places going. But you're also paying stupid fucking prices for the pizza.
Paying a premium for the name, aren't you?
Yeah, premium for the name and premium for Speedy Gonzalez dropping it off, who's actually just called Pedro in a Fiat Punto. But yeah, I'd probably go Domino's, yeah. Fuck it. I'm not going to be paying for it, am I, if it's my death row meal?
You don't have to limit yourself to just a pizza as well. If you go into Domino's, you could get like chicken strips and all that as well. You know what I mean?
Chicken strips, twisted dough balls, pepperoni ones, cookies, Ben and Jerry's.
Exactly.
Nailed it. That would cost about £5.
Yeah, you're not paying now, so don't worry about it, lads.
Exactly, I'm sound.
John W. Henry is.
Fucking hell, lads. More chance of Stevie Wonder seeing it happen.
But he's got money.
Crisps, I would go. You know what a proper underrated crisp, lad? And they're not necessarily in every household. Little Scampy fries. Little fanny packs. They're sound, then, you know. Especially when you lick your fingers afterwards, it takes you to places that you'd never think you'd be.
They're definitely an acquired taste.
But if I was going like a general crisp, I'd probably go like you know those Royston's T-bone steak ones.
Yeah, Roysters. Yeah,
Roysters. They're belters. Them. I mean, they're a bit expensive, but again, it's my last meal. Bollocks to it.
Right, chocolate bar.
It's tough, that, isn't it?
No.
You know what I love, lads, and you can't get anywhere anymore? Crispy rolls.
Yeah.
What an elite chocolate bar they were.
I used to be able to buy them for like 30p or something. They were always like cheaper than like the other chocolate bars. And I used to buy like 10 of them in one go.
Belters,
like
weren't
the
they?
best chocolate bars ever.
I would probably go. I'd probably say with the same here, actually, a Bueno.
Yeah.
Did you say chocolate or white?
I'd go chocolate.
See, I'm going to have to go the white one.
Yeah. That's why
Sorry,
you
lad.
The Conservatives, lad.
Get to fuck, cheeky cunt.
What drink would you have, though? Wash it all down.
Cherry Coke.
Yeah.
Not that vanilla shite.
Listen, I respect your opinion, but I disagree with you. Cherry Coke for me is definitely the best drink that Coke have ever brought out. Like, we see, like, have you ever had Cherry Pepsi?
Yeah.
Not bad, but it's not Cherry Coke.
It's not Cherry Coke.
I mean?
Nothing touches Cherry Coke.
We had this conversation the other week in a call or whatever it was, or at the stream, and we're talking about like Coke is Coke. Like, you don't really crave like Pepsi. You don't really crave like other
They don't sponsor us just yet, but
but like Coca-Cola is just like daddy, isn't it? Like, even the other flavors, they've got like lime Coke. I don't know if you know about that. It's quite nice.
Yeah. I think apart from cherry, just leave Coke alone. Do you know what I mean?
Nah,
they brought out random ones, haven't they? Like apricot and peach and all this shit. Fuck off. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Leave the cherries.
Yeah,
leave the
normal
Coke.
It just doesn't taste the same. The Pepsi cherry one. I don't know why.
The cherry Coke when we went to America and in this restaurant, and the woman made it, and she put cherry sauce into the glass.
Yeah.
And then I'm presuming it was just normal Coke with it, and then obviously give it a good stir. Oh my god, lad!
Boss.
It's like she just
fucking like a syrup on it. Like the proper syrup.
It was like she just come over and squirted all over my face. Boss.
Right. Anyway, Peter, thank you for that question, mate.
Next one, P.
Good one to start it off with. As we've said many a times, this podcast is going to be about everything wild and wonderful, comedy unscripted, all that good stuff. But we are going to have a segment pretty much every week when there's football on anyway, where we're going to predict the scores and also have a little recap of the previous week's scores. And also an actor of the week. So last week we didn't actually have one where we put it on the podcast, but we're not going to physically show you the picture of it, but we're going to talk about it and tell you why we think this is the bet to do if you want to have a bit of fun. Again, as always, if you're going to gamble any of your money, make sure that you can afford to do so. Gamble responsibly, all that good stuff. And but yeah, we're gonna recap our the first week of the Premier League from last week, and we're going to go over mine and Gareth's predictions because we predicted all 10 games. I think we actually got some of them right as well. I've got them on the screen, so I'm going to read them out. So we'll start off with the Friday night football, which is the first game of the season, which was Burnley against City at 𝕊𝕡𝕠𝕣𝕥𝕤. It actually ended 3-0 to City. If anyone watched it, the game was all right. City didn't play as well as what I thought. Burnley actually got at them. And the reason why me and Gareth, probably did have Burnley down to score. Gareth had 3-1 and I had 2-1. In the second game, we had Arsenal against Forest. It was 2-1 to Arsenal. Again, another close game, tough game for Arsenal.
Fucking miles off this one, won't we?
Yeah. I had 3-0. Gareth had 4-0. Again, we probably weren't anticipating that Forest were going to play as well.
Fair play to Forest to go there and keep it tight like that and still be in with a sniff with 10 minutes to go.
Exactly. Sheffield United versus Palace. We both said 1-1. It was 1-0 to Palace. Not a million miles away.
My bet in life, that.
Sheffield United was at home, so we thought they might sneak the little goals, you know what I mean? This one we were quite a bit away from. Newcastle against Villa. I
had the right amount of goals, to be fair.
Gareth did put 3-3, so we did have the right amount of goals. I put 2-2, but it was actually 5-1. The first half was close. It was a very good game. And then from the 60th minute onwards, Newcastle just ran riot, and Aston Villa's back line was more open than a $10 brass.
Fair play to Newcastle. They absolutely wiped the floor with them in the second half, didn't they? I know Mings went off injured for Villa, which probably didn't help them, but fair play to Newcastle.
Ironically though, when Mings went off, Newcastle probably suffered the rest of the first half more than what Aston Villa did. That's what I thought they took over a little bit. Next game, Bournemouth against West Ham. I had 0-0. Gareth had 2-1 to West Ham. It was 1-1. Brighton against Luton. I had 4-0 or 4-1. Gareth had 3-0. It finished 4-1. So technically, I got that one right.
Go ahead, lads.
So we'll take that. We take the small wins. Everton against Fulham. I had 1-0 to Everton. Gareth had 1-1. It finished 1-0 to Fulham.
Fucking one goal off again, lads. Wow.
As much as we dislike Everton, I think we both agree in saying that Everton probably played all right and probably deserved more out of it. We deserved at least a point.
It.
But yeah, that's football for you. Brentford
that's what happens when you miss open goals, though, as well, isn't it? Was it Patterson? Yeah. Decided to play crossbar challenge 10 yards out with an open goal in front of him.
Next one, Brentford against Spurs. I put 2-1 to Spurs. Gareth put 1-1. It finished 2-2. So Gareth was closest. He got the result right, just not the correct score. Liverpool against Chelsea. Chelsea at home. I said 1-1. Gareth said 2-2. It was 1-1. So
well done, lads.
Could have been more goals, to be fair. Both of us had more chances. But yeah.
One ruled out through VAR as well, didn't he? So.
Yeah. Both of us got this one quite wrong as well. Man United against Wolves. We were expecting Man United to absolutely plummet them. They won 1-0. Very, very, very controversial penalty that Wolves were denied as well. The 𝕊𝕡𝕠𝕣𝕥𝕤, I think it is, come out afterwards about an hour later and literally admitted that they were wrong and that Wolves should have had a penalty in the 93rd minute or something. Wolves play fantastic. I think Man United are just maybe trying to get up to the level that they need to this season and still maybe not really ready to get going yet.
It's never about performance on the opening day, is it? It's about getting those 3 points, but clearly showed that United have got a lot to work on. I mean, that middle of the park was non-existent. I thought it was our midfield for a second, but no, Casemiro was definitely on the pitch, but they were far too easy to get at. But I think as the season goes on, they'll get stronger in there.
That's what I mean. Again, I said this when we done a watch along for it on the stream, and you kind of want to see good performances, but at the same time, for the first month of the season, all the players and all the teams are still like getting up to the speed of football a bit more. Playing pre-season games, even the Charity Shield, as we seen last season, but Liverpool's not really a good indicator of how well a team's going to do that season. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But yeah, so I got 2 right. Gareth didn't get any right, but he did. He got a few, at least one of the.
I was close, lads. I've hit the bar a few times there, to be fair.
A
few odd goal here and there.
But yeah, we'll be doing all right. Let us know if you predicted any in the comments when we upload it onto YouTube. And before we go on to the score predictions for this week coming, I just want to let everyone know that the schedule for the podcast will be upload on Spotify Friday, upload on YouTube Sunday. If you want to help out and support us a little bit more, watch it on both. Make sure you're watching for at least 60 seconds each time you watch it, because it helps us, pushes us up the algorithm and all that good stuff.
Just watch the lot. Don't be a rat.
Watch it all. Yeah, just literally now, between like when we upload it up until the next one comes out, just don't sleep and just watch like 12 hours of Spotify and then 12 hours of YouTube every day, and then that's it really. Don't watch, don't sleep.
It's not hard, is it? It's not rocket science.
Oh, right. Predictions for next week. We're gonna do that now. We're gonna be a little bit quicker this week because last week we took.
Let's fly through them, lads. Yeah.
But that was obviously because the weekend of the first round of games of the Premier League. This week we've got Nottingham Forest against Sheffield United, guys. What's your prediction?
2-0 Forest.
Right. I'm gonna go 1-1. Yeah, I'll go 1-1. We did have Luton Burnley, but it has been postponed. I'm assuming it's because of Luton's ground still trying to get up to the standards of being able to actually run a game at a Premier League level. Next one on my screen, we've got Liverpool against Bournemouth at home, 3:00 kickoff. What's your prediction, guys?
I'm going to go 4-1 Liverpool.
Okay, I'm going to be confident and say we're not going to concede. I'm going to go 4-0. Hopefully we have that new Endo in, and I know obviously people will have their own opinions on him.
Endo, lad.
Just to have an actual number 6 play will be a good little thing.
Thiago's been back in training as well this week, and so hopefully he could make a bit of a difference to Liverpool's midfield as well, especially against Bournemouth at home. I mean, if we can't go without an out-and-out 6 in that game, then we might as well call it a fucking day.
Yeah, definitely. Wolves against Brighton. Wolves are at home.
It's a tough one, that, I think. Obviously, I think Wolves played well against United on Monday and all. Although they didn't create mass amounts of open, clear-cut chances, they still, worked their way up to the box very well. They should have had a penalty without a shadow of a doubt. I think it could be a tricky one for Brighton, to be honest. But I'll go a Brighton 2-1 win.
I'm going to go with 1-0 to Brighton. Again, I agree. Wolves play well, but Brighton are just a much better team. Fulham against Brentford.
Tough, yeah. To be honest, without taking the piss out of Everton, I thought they did play all right against Fulham. To be fair, they were probably the better team, shaded it. And Brentford looked well against Spurs. I wouldn't say, it really looked like they were missing much. Maybe defensively they could have been a bit tighter, but Fulham at home, 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a draw as well, but I'm going to go 0-0. Mitrovic is meant to be close to leaving, and Ivan Toney's not there, so I could be completely wrong, but yeah, I'm going to go with that. The mid kickoff on Saturday, we've actually got 3:00 kickoffs, 5:30. We've also got an 8:00 kickoff. 5:30 Spurs against Man United at Spurs Stadium. Yeah,
Saturday night's a belter, isn't it? With that at 5:30, and then City Newcastle at 8:00.
Yeah.
Spurs United. Toss of a coin. I don't want to sit on the fence and go draw or be boring but no, you know what? I think United still have enough. I'm gonna go 2-0 United.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Spurs. I think Man United look terrible the other day in comparison to what we'll probably see them doing in a few months, but I still think they're a little bit behind it. I think Højlund might be playing. He's very unproven. Need to see Rashford play left wing. Mason Mount, Casemiro and Bruno as a midfield 3 at this moment don't work. Might be better against them, but I'll have to wait and see. Next game, late kick-off, Saturday night, Man City at home against Newcastle.
I think this has got the characteristics to be a belter game, hasn't it? See, Pep had a little moan last night after the game about them playing Saturday to the Premier League. I think it was any other manager that get absolutely slaughtered, but
certain German
you've got
one.
certain German one who's got a nice big smile. But you know, that's why you've got the squad you've got. You've just gone and won a trophy. Surely it should, if anything, help you. You know what I mean? Bring that good feeling in and that. City at home, obviously. Newcastle, I mean, I was surprised how well they played last weekend. I must admit, I thought that the two teams were a lot tighter, and I thought that would have showed on the scoreboard. I think they'll get on the score sheet, but I think City will edge them out. 3-1 City.
I'm going to agree with you. I think 3-1 City as well. As much as I thought Newcastle were fantastic going forward the other day, I think they did look vulnerable at times in the midfield, and at the back they look vulnerable as well. And I think regardless of how good City are on their day, or how bad they are, they just score goals, don't they? And Haaland's probably, he just loves scoring in the Premier League, doesn't he? I reckon he'll score.
Could be completely wrong. You know, Newcastle could go there, sit in and try and hit him on the counter and get lucky on the day.
Yeah.
You know, no De Bruyne now for City either, so they've got a little bit of messing about to do in terms of personnel starting. But I think anyone going the Etihad, if Newcastle can go there and get a point, then what a start, beating Villa 5-1 and going there and getting the points.
Yeah, definitely. Right, Sunday early kick-off, 2 o'clock. Aston Villa against Everton at Villa's grounds.
I think Villa will obviously want to bounce back from last weekend's result. They've got the personnel to do it. They're at home in front of the Villa Park crowd.
Yeah.
I'll say 2-0 Aston Villa.
Fair enough. I agree, again. We're having a couple of results here. I actually agree with you. I'm going to go with 2-0 as well. I think Everton, I just think they're going to struggle to score goals so much this season. Like I said before, Aston Villa actually probably played a lot better than what the 5-1 result was. But then the second half, don't get why, but it looked like they were playing an extra 10-15 yards up the pitch trying to chase the game, and Newcastle just carved through them like, hot knife and buses over the vein.
The pace behind was just far too much for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2-0 I'll go with as well. West Ham against Chelsea at the London Stadium.
I hope it's 25-0 to West Ham.
Well, what do you think?
Zuma scores 22 of them and celebrates by doing a cat roll across the deck. Chelsea, man. To be fair, I thought Chelsea played well last weekend. I obviously didn't see anything of Bournemouth West Ham apart from highlights knocking about, so I can't really comment too much on their performance. Obviously, I've seen a lot of Chelsea's because they were playing Liverpool, so I thought they played well last week, but I think in the first half an hour there was no reason why Liverpool couldn't have been 2, potentially 3 up, and it would have been a different story. But West Ham's first home game, obviously they made a couple of signings. Now they've got Ward-Prowse in this week. That's all been confirmed, hasn't it? So, there should be a feeling of optimism there. They've just come off the back of winning the first trophy in however many years. So, it won't be easy for Chelsea to go there and get a result, but I think they will. I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah. I'm going to go 1-0 West Ham.
Okay. Who's your scorer if you had to pick one?
I don't even know.
Just sold my car to Lucas back.
No. I don't even think he'll play. He might not play if he's close to going to City.
I was just singing a song I like.
I'm going to go with Fabianski overhead kick from his own box. No, I'm going to go 1-0 West Ham. One thing I will say is I think Chelsea were good the other day, but I think that they were a lot better than what we've seen them, and I don't know whether they're going to get a lot better or any better than what we've seen them against us on the weekend. And I think it could be a bit hostile. You've still got players to settle in. Reece James is injured. And I don't know about you, but when Gusto come on against Liverpool, he just didn't look that great, really. And
Gusto was fucking shy, wasn't he? We've actually spoken about that, haven't we? We touched on it a little bit. I thought, if he's going to be starting for the next maybe 6-8 games, whatever it may be, the drop-off between him and Reece James is quite significant. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
He's done quite well in pre-season, so he might just take a bit of time to get up to speed. Right, last game of the weekend, shall I say, even though it's on a Monday. Palace at home against Arsenal.
Selhurst Park on a Monday night's one of the worst possible fixtures, isn't it, really? Yeah. Obviously, the news has broke today that Elise signed his new deal. Whether 𝕊𝕡𝕣𝕥𝕤 is still there come Monday, or whether he's maybe moved on. Is yet to be seen. But again, it's definitely not it's definitely not an easy game for Arsenal going there. But I think they'll be all right. I'll go 2-0 Arsenal.
I'm going to go 1-1. I'm still unsure with Arsenal. I think they could struggle in some games away from home this season.
It's about them places. You've got to have the character to go there. I mean, you've got to have the know-how and ride it out.
The only team out of the big six that I'm pretty sure about is going to do well this season is City.
Yeah.
Like, I know people are going on about like Declan Rice signing for Arsenal and Havertz and players like that, but Jurrien Timber's just got injured. He could be out for like the rest of the season or 6 to 8 months or something. But his ACL.
I had him in my fantasy footy, so well and truly jinxed him there, haven't I? Sorry, Jurrien, lad.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-0 or 1-0. 1-0 or 1-1. Sorry.
A 1-0 or a 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0 or 1-0. I'm gonna go 1-1. Go 1-1.
What happened to
changing my mind now. I'm thinking about it even more. Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1. Palace, Eze and Martinelli. I'm gonna say Palace are gonna score in like the last 10 minutes.
Fucking hell, predicting times of goals as well now, lad. Mystic fucking Meg over there.
Get a bet on it, it's gonna win, you know what I mean?
Show us your crystal balls, lad.
Well, if you sign up to our only, I'm only messing. But yeah, that's all the fixtures for the weekend. Let us know. Again, we will probably put posts up about these anyway, because we are posting quite a bit about football on the Facebook page. But when we upload it on the Sunday, the video onto YouTube, go on there, comment some of your predictions that you have for maybe the Arsenal game, because I'm assuming all the other games will have been played by then. Let us know. Rinse us as well. Rinse us some of the ones that we got wrong. If you support any of these teams and we said you're going to drop points or you're going to lose, rinse us.
Tell us what you're going.
Yeah, about the results, not about Gareth ginger hair or my fat chins or anything like that.
Fucking Egyptian sunset, you cheeky prick.
Right, guys, you've got an actor of the week for us.
Yeah, obviously it's something we mentioned last week. We didn't actually speak about it on pods, but we put a post up, didn't we, on our socials of the little lacquer we put together. Wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but it was the first weekend of the season, so you're sort of getting a feel of it. I think we got 3 or 4 out of the 6 up. We've gone a little bit different this week. We've gone for both teams to score across 6 games. So no straight results, just the both teams to score bet. So I've got Wolves Brighton as a both teams to score. I've got Tottenham United as a both to score, even though I've just said United will win 2-0.
Yeah.
It's live, isn't it? What can I do about it?
It's likely that Spurs could score, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and it's 1-2. It's not bad odds.
Yeah.
Spurs at home. I've gone City, Newcastle both to score. And then dropping down, I've got Sheffield, Preston both to score in the Championship. Yeah. Stoke, Watford both to score. And Swansea, Coventry both to score. And that is coming out at around 25-1 on Bet365.
Not bad. So, again, just want to reiterate, if you are going to put any money on this, you don't have to. It's a bit of fun. Only bet what you can. At the end of the day, if you put £1 on this bet, you get 25, 26. What was the odds? 25-1? Yeah,
obviously you can get your different bonuses and stuff like that. But a couple of quid, you might be looking at a £50 return. Again, if you can afford to potentially lose it, have a little gander. If you think it's a load of shite, let us know, and let's see who the real winners are.
Just a little bit more, adds a little bit more fun to maybe weekend football and the predictions, doesn't it?
I mean, I wouldn't be asked about Sheffield Wednesday Preston unless I've got a couple of quid on it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Imagine that's the game that you're waiting on to win 50 quid and you put a quid on it or something.
Ryan Lowe brings himself off the bench for Preston, scores an equaliser in the 96th minute.
Alvin Ramsey straps his leg up, runs on overhead kick.
Another injury crock.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, guys, nice one for the actor of the week. Like I said, if you've got any actors, we'll have a post up on Facebook. You will hear this podcast at 5:30, so on Friday. And then if you watch
good luck if you have a dabble, good luck with your own bets. Send us yours. You've probably got more of a chance than us.
Only bet what you can afford. And make sure you take advantage of the account limits and deposit limits that you can use on all the betting websites and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, we've 100%. Actually got a new segment this week, and it's what I'm very excited for.
What is it?
Your dad jokes.
Fuck off.
Yeah. So yeah. We've been scrolling through the internet, social media, Facebook, everywhere, and finding some funny.
You have. I didn't have a clue about this. Go ahead.
Well, I have, yeah. So your dad joke. So if you don't know what your dad joke is, then you're gonna learn very soon because I think we've got about 12 here for you know. To tell you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read them out to Gareth and let's see if he likes any of them. But yeah, again,
not laugh or.
I mean, if you want to try and not laugh, you can. If you think it's funny, give us a little chin wag. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, on Facebook, we're going to put a post up as well. You always after the podcast has been out, so you can give us some of yours that we might not have said. We're going to try and have a little segment every week, a little 5-10 minutes, just going across a few. But yeah, we're going to get straight into it. Anyway, the first one is your dad fakes. Your dad fakes jellyfish stings to get pissed on by strangers. oh, love it.
Oh, you know.
What I need to tell you now is
Steph out there can add that, you know.
Whether you're watching this or whether you're just licking it because I've read another part. Oh right, let me just calm myself down. I haven't even. I listen.
My glasses are steamed over every day.
Never mind. Right. Envision what we're saying because it makes it even funnier. Like imagine knowing someone whose dad gets jellyfish stings or fakes them so someone pisses on him that he doesn't know on purpose. Imagine having a piss fetish. Yeah, that's the first one anyway. Second one is your dad used to suck cock for money in West Philadelphia. Oh.
What's the go-to rig out in West Philadelphia?
I don't know.
Like, is it a bit like Nashville and that where they wear like cowboy stuff and that, or
no, I don't think so.
Is Philly a bit different? Is it always freezing in Philadelphia? I'm showing geography is clearly not my fucking strong point.
Always sunny in Philadelphia, lad.
I just thought it was a fucking cheese, to be honest with you, a spreadable one.
Have you ever heard of the series Always Sunny? Is that what the series is? Always Sunny in
Philadelphia?
Philadelphia?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. No.
That's the one.
I went a bit Aussie then as well, yeah, a bit more home and away.
Oh, no way. I've missed half of it. That's not even a joke.
You're messing.
Oh, my God. Right, let me carry on. Right. Your dad used to suck cock for money in West Philadelphia. He was known as the Fresh Prince of Bel-End. Oh, no way. I was sitting there thinking...
senseless.
I was thinking, where's the reference into... I knew it was about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Or Bel-End.
It's the Bel-End, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, you'll have to bear with us this week. This is the second podcast, so it might be a little bit messed up. Last one we were more... Probably more scheduled into what we were doing. Right, next one. Your dad stands up to fart in the bath. Again, envision it. Imagine your dad. Imagine walking into him and he's standing up to fart. You know what I mean? No free bubbles.
No bubbles out of his cheeks.
Your dad's got 3 balls. Calls himself E.T. the extra testicle. Oh.
That's freezing fucking one, lad. Oh. Extra says he.
Right. Your dad got sacked from the sperm bank. He got caught drinking on his job.
Oh,
that's grim, that, isn't it?
Pina coladas.
Yeah. Right, one of my personal favourites. Your dad wears Velcro trainers. Oh my God. Oh, imagine that, like, put like little cool ones with like the little light that glow up in the bottom.
And when he runs dead fast, he flash one.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that video of that fella when he goes into like the shop to try shoes on and just starts doing laps, like running up and down in like JD or something?
He shits himself.
Thinks he's gonna run off and rob them.
Oh, imagine going down in the morning, low lad for your brekkie, and your dad's going out for work, and he's just strapping on his shoes.
Pair of Lonsdale fucking Velcro light up shoes. Right, next one. Your dad does Sonia Fowler's fitness DVD in his bedroom. You'll have to know who Sonia Fowler is to know that joke. If you don't know who she is, she's a female that's on EastEnders. Well,
I knew you saw a picture of a snatch on the internet.
Yeah, she might not be female. Actually, she might be something else. I don't know. Don't sue me.
It'll be a them.
Yeah, they, them, he, she. I don't know. Your dad gets called walkie-talkie because every time a hot bird walks past, he goes, "I'd Roger that."
That's a proper dad joke. That. Oh, go on, lad. I'll fucking roger that.
Yeah, it is. Your dad pulls his pants right down to his ankles, or he has a piss.
Hey, you never know. He might just be gifted, and he's got to.
You might just have to
You know what I mean?
Might be stuck down the side of his leg, might you know?
You know, like a catheter.
Yeah, it's either do that or piss all down your leg. Do you know what I mean? Right, next one. Your dad stutters that bad. He went to shop for a Mars bar and came out with a packet of M&Ms. That's Steve, if you're listening to the podcast, mate, we thought of you when putting that one down.
All three that Steve, lad.
Yeah, your dad licks other people's yogurt lids.
Imagine him just going up to the kids and taking the lids off the yacht.
Yeah, just licking it. But like when you're out somewhere having like a picnic or something. Right, last one. Your dad's in a nervous biker gang, sons of panicky.
Sons of panicky.
Oh, you know what?
Chuck my one in at the end here.
What one?
Can I chuck me one in? That's just come to me.
Lads.
Your dad puts Viagra in his eyes so he can look hard. Go ahead. Oh, fucking, I'll burn it up here.
They are unmatched though, but yeah, if you've got any of your dad jokes, like I said, we'll put a Facebook post up and ask you to tell us them. But we'll
make
put
sure
it up probably.
Decent.
Yeah, make sure they're decent. Don't be fucking putting shite ones up. We want good ones.
Don't tell us your dad sticks the fucking brush up his ass or something.
If they're that good, we might even feature them on next week's one. But yeah, that's your dad segment. I think we had about 12. We'll do about 10 or 12 every week until we can't find any more. Right, we're going to go into the next part of the podcast now, and this bit is going to be 100 million % unscripted. We were going to do the Q&A next, but we've actually gone through a lot quicker than what we thought. So Gareth hasn't even got this in his notes, but we're going to have a little chat about mental health because obviously, as we've mentioned, this is what the podcast is about everything, but it's also about mental health. We want to discuss it. And in my last week, and probably in Gareth's last few weeks, we've probably both suffered a little bit. I think it's good that we speak about it. We've got a couple of questions. We might even possibly have one. We have got one from Josh Jones, which we'll add into this segment of talking about mental health. Yeah, basically, I want to talk about, why. Not so much why, but like basically how we suffer with it ourselves. Like I said, the reason why I want to speak about this because I know you're personally going through your own little journey right now, which is like that all the time. I'm the same. I've got a little story I'm going to tell now over the last couple of weeks about trying to get an appointment with my doctor and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna basically I want to ask you, when did you first realize, or when did you first realize that you were suffering with your mental health, and what would you say that you were suffering with? Because there's many different things that you could class as being, mentally, not you're not mentally well in a sense.
Yeah, of course, it's a wide spectrum, isn't it? And I think, it's easy nowadays for people to use it as a bit of a buzzword, but until you've experienced it and you're living with it, then you'll know it's not just a buzzword. It's something that can affect you on a daily basis in many different ways. From my point of view, my journey started over 3 years ago now. Just out of nowhere, it sort of crept up on me. And well, I say out of nowhere, when you strip it all back and look back, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, as they say.
Yeah. Not out of nowhere, is it?
No, you can see it in black and white, and I think it's easy to look back in hindsight rather than try and reflect in the moment. But that's probably one of the biggest skills that you could probably gain through experiences in life, is being able to step back in the moment, reflect and have a little look at what you're doing, what's going on around you, what you're prioritizing, whether what you are prioritizing should be a priority. And if there is any issues, how you can move forward from it. But it's not a 5-minute journey. Do you know what I mean? It's a roller coaster ride, which you have to, you sort of have to prepare yourself that you've got to be in it for the long haul. And it's finding ways to to manage that and make sure there's more peaks than there is troughs, and try and keep on that upward trajectory. But you know, for me, I'm still not there. I'm still tweaking with things. I'm still trying to find new ways to assist and help. And you know, yeah, of late, it's defo gone into the trough again, and hopefully now I'm just starting to climb up to the peak again, and you know, go again as such, mate.
So, again, touching back on when you first started, like experiencing, you know, maybe low moods and stuff like that. As you touched on before, I agree. Like, you know, you say you've been suffering now for about 3 years, but it's crazy when you think about it, because I remember mine was quite obvious when mine started, in a sense, like in terms of like when it hit me, because I had a panic attack in work. So
that was the same as me, lads.
Yeah. So
exactly
like,
the same.
You know, feeling depressed and something, you could say, well, I don't know if I was depressed and I might just had low moods. I don't know, Joe. Like, in terms of like when I knew it started, like 1,000,000%, I had a panic attack in work. So, like I can give you dates and everything, because I've had, you know, I had to go off work and stuff like that. But going back to like now, it's again, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But I remember when I first started suffering before that, and I only know now recently that I was suffering before I had a panic attack. So, you know, if you've never suffered with it, or if you're someone that's in listening to this podcast now, and you have, and you'll understand some of the stuff we're saying, some of it you might not, because you might not have maybe, you know, been spoke to about it, or you might not have opened your mind to some of the things. But if you're fortunately someone that's never suffered with mental health anyway, so like I said, I thought once I had a panic attack that was when it started, but it was much longer before that. So little symptoms where you might just think that you're tired and stuff. So I was like lethargic, drained, not sleeping properly, getting palpitations, low mood, worrying all the time. I don't know why, but just constantly thinking about death, but not in the sense of I want to die, in the sense of I'm scared of dying.
Yeah,
And
100%.
constantly worrying about people around me, stuff happening to them. And again, I don't know if we won't go into this tonight, but if you know me, you'll know my story, and you'll probably know why. In that certain period of time, I lost quite a few family members within the 12 months of me probably getting to the point where I broke down and hit bottom. And my bottom is when I class as when I started my journey of struggling with mental health. But as I said, it was much longer than that. It was before that. But I just want to say to people now, like, if you listen to this podcast and sometimes you might have a low mood, it might not be mental health, as Gareth said before. Sometimes it's a word that gets used a lot now, and sometimes you are just having a poor, you know, poor day or a poor week or a poor whatever. And even in that situation, try and do something to, you know, get yourself out of that situation where you may be feeling, when you're feeling down. Try and, you know, get yourself up. This is easier said than done, by the way, but what I'm trying to say is,
100%, yeah.
if you're in a position where you're not really struggling with mental health and you're in a place of just being a bit of a low mood, you want to make sure that doesn't reoccur. You want to get yourself out of that, to get yourself not getting to the level where you're like getting more serious. And over the podcast, whether it be 1 episode, 2 episodes, 10 episodes, however many it may take, we'll discuss it and we'll try and help you out. And we'll try and give you tips of what we think can help you. Like Gareth said before, he's still suffering now. I am. As I said before, I've got my own little story over the last couple of weeks. You know, I've been suffering my mental health now for, I think it's 5 years this month. Well, that's when I had my first panic attack anyway. Or my first one, that when I went onto this episode of the 5 years of, you know, me struggling. And for the first year and a half, I was getting help off and on from doctors, mental health nurses, psychologists, stuff like that. And then pretty much for 3.5 years, so December 2019, I think it was, a couple of months before that, I had counselling and stuff like that, or whatever you want to call it. And then I was meant to get more therapy in January. And since then, I've pretty much got into that bad of a rut. I don't leave my house and stuff like that. I've got agoraphobia, all that good stuff. If you don't know what it is, basically a condition that, you know, to put it simple, it can stop you from going out the house, or it can stop you from going in crowded spaces. You basically avoid certain situations because, for many reasons, you don't feel safe, you feel overwhelmed, you feel crowded, stuff like that. That's where I'm at right now. So fast forward 3.5 years later, Paula rang the doctor for me because, again, depending on how severe your mental health is or how not bad it is, you might be absolutely fine ringing the doctor It's not something I can do. Why? I don't know. Same way I ask myself every day, why can't I leave the house? It baffles me, but it's just the way I am. First appointment I was meant to have on the phone with the doctor. Didn't ring me. Paul had to ring him back up. I was like, what's going on? Like, why haven't you rang him? Why haven't you spoken to me? Oh, I forgot to tell you, the doctor's off sick and all that, so we can't ring you. So for 4 days before it, 4 days before, I couldn't sleep because my anxiety was overdriving, knowing that I had this phone call between 8 and 12 a.m. p.m. on a Tuesday, which was not Tuesday, just gone the one before. Now, as much as to a normal person, just having an appointment with the doctor, which wasn't actually a proper appointment, it was more like of a triage to then getting another appointment with a mental health doctor. He was basically the middleman in between me and getting help from someone else. You know, the doctor would be quite daunting. Someone that's got severe anxiety, it's probably worse. You know what I mean? In fact, it's not probably worse. It is worse for the average person. But yeah, that never happens. Like, oh, sorry, you know, we'll rebook you for the next week. Tuesday just gone, which is what 3-4 days ago when you listen to this. Meant to have the appointment again. Didn't ring me by 12 o'clock on the Tuesday. Paul rang me. He was like, what's going on? He's like, I tried to ring them. Went to answer phone. I was like, I've got both of my phones in my hand. I haven't slept for days again. I've literally woke myself up at 8 o'clock. I've had 3 hours sleep, off and on. And I still, you know, there's no way that they did not ring me. And
full of shit, lads.
They ended up ringing me about 2 hours later. Like, I could have tried to get an extra few hours sleep. Do you know what I mean? Tried. I'm not saying I would have got it, but I could have tried. But eventually, yeah.
I mean, it'd be funny. I know. Sorry to cut you up a little bit there, mate. But obviously, things can come up. You know what I mean? Like things could happen there. But in terms of what the call was based around, I mean, mental health. Someone who suffers anxiety can't leave the house, etc., etc. Like, put that call to someone else and make it a priority. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's not even so much that. It's more the point. Like, they weren't going to ring me on like the Tuesday because the doctor was off. They were just going to leave it, and then he was going to try and rearrange an appointment when he was back. Like, all he had to do was get the receptionist to just ring up me or Paul and just say, listen, he can't ring you today, so he's going to ring you next week instead of me sitting there worrying, thinking, what's going on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
of course. Finally got the appointment. Spoke to him on Tuesday. Basically now, finally for the first time in like 3.5 years or whatever it is, finally going to get referred to do something else now. I don't know what it is yet. Something to do with, I think it's seeing a psychologist sort of again, but it's getting started. But I just want to, like, the reason why I'm saying that is, the point I'm trying to make is, whether it takes you 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to get help, like, try not put it off. But if you do, try not make it overwhelm you and worry you too much, because that's not what you want to do. That's what I did. Like, I let it worry me too much, and I think ultimately it made me probably take longer to do it because I was more worried about it. And in my circumstances, I had to get someone else to do it for me. If you got someone that is there that can help you, try and get them to help you, because it will help you massively. Like I said, I probably wouldn't have even had this appointment now if it weren't for Paula. But my second point I was going to go on about is just the whole NHS with mental health now is like so much on its arse.
Yeah.
And I feel like now there's so many people that are suffering. You know, some people suffering more than others. Not to trigger anyone, like, but you know, just people that are, the suicide rate is very high. And again, I apologise if that's, you know, triggering for anyone, but it's at a rate now where it shouldn't be. It should be none, but it's at a rate where it's disgustingly high. And I think it's down to the fact that there's too many people not getting enough help.
Yeah, it's higher than ever, and obviously statistics show that, don't they? I think the key thing for anyone who's struggling or who's on that road to finding help or seeking help, whatever, don't just leave it. Like, once you make that first phone call and they say you'll hear something back in a week, 10 days, and you haven't, you then phone them again. Don't just let it drag on, because as bad as this sounds, and it's nothing against the NHS to stretch massively. We know why, through this shitty fucking government that we've got in charge, and they can't do everything every day, but a lot of the time now it is box ticking, and that sort of job done, and the restraint to that, they can't really touch anything else because of how overwhelmed and understaffed they are. So like I say, don't rely too much on others. Like, if you started your journey and you're seeking it, then keep pushing forward with it. Seek different options. If you've got an employer, see if there's anything they can do for you. Whether you've got any, sort of health assistance, that side of things, or whatever. And just go down every avenue possible until you get the outcome that you want. Because it won't come to you. You've got to go and find it.
Definitely, as Gareth just said, just take as much help as you possibly can, because when you're at a time where you're struggling with your mental health, you'll feel like that you're on your own, but ultimately it's not the case. You'll be very surprised whether you've got no family and you're listening to this on your own. Reach out to us. We'll happily take an email, an inbox off you. We'll speak to you. We'll try and give you advice. We'll try and help you. We'll give you a place to be. Again, not to plug my streams, but I stream pretty much most nights. We all jump in and play games together. We have a laugh. We have a bit of fun. It does help, and I can tell you it's helped a lot of people. Personally, I've had people messaging me telling me this. I've had people being in a bad position where they've messaged me and I've helped them, not do silly things and stuff before. So, yeah, get yourself some help if you can.
Yeah.
If you're suffering with any of the symptoms I mentioned earlier, like fatigue and all stuff like that, and it's been going on for a while, and you're someone that has probably got a decent diet or you're quite active and stuff like that, then obviously it could be something going on in your head. Do you know what I mean? You might need a little bit of help.
Mm-hmm. As we referenced last week, Nathan, what you just touched on there again. If you need us, drop us something. Whether you want to do it through email or anonymously, heads.laughs2023@gmail.com. Send us something over, and if we can, we'll help you in any way possible.
Yeah, we're not going to judge you. We're here to help. We're here to have a bit of a laugh, make each other laugh. And like I said, if we can help and just talk about football and comedy.
Stop talking about serious shit now, anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, we're on to the segments of the Q&A. This week's podcast, by the way, might be a little bit more formatted in a sense where we've got different segments and stuff like that, and a little bit less rolling with it. And the reason why is because we're going to try and test a few things out. We're going to see what this is like. See, we've got quite a few segments where we're asking you to get involved, and we've got like the jokes and stuff like that. And we're going to see how it works. This might not be what the podcast is like in 2 months, 3 months. Just going to test things. Ultimately, we need your feedback.
Butter, you?
What?
Do you like peanut butter, you?
Yeah, I like peanut butter, yeah.
Smooth or crunchy? Smooth. Oh, both. Oh,
yeah,
greedy bastard.
We need your feedback. Give us feedback on all our socials. Send us emails. You can actually put comments on the Spotify as well, so get that done. But we're on to the Q&A part anyway, and we've got questions like you've all sent in, or slight debate topics. So we're going to go through these, and we're going to answer them, and yeah, see if we can be of help, or whether our answers are good enough for you to not moan at us for our answers. But the first one is, ironically, again, I didn't answer before, but I did say I'd have it in that segment. What have you found the best counters to deal with stress and anxiety?
Still don't think I've fully found the right solution yet. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have touched on what we just did then. But certainly things helping again. And we could probably say the same things week in, week out. And you've probably heard hundreds of thousands of people say the same things. But literally, everyone says the same thing because it works. And it's what you need to do. You need to talk. You need to take things on board. You need to have the people around you that understand why you're not talking too much that day, or why you haven't answered that phone call. It's not because you're ignoring them, it's because you don't really want to speak to anyone. Do you know what I mean? It's about all those things coming together and making sure that they work for you. I'm going
to go slightly different. I have found certain ways to help deal with my stress and anxiety, not to the level it needs to be, because obviously if that was the case, I'd be going out and I wouldn't be suffering anymore. But so I've got a panic disorder. So ways I deal with that is when I know it's coming along, I've got meditation. I listen to meditation music. I listen to focus on your breathing. It's the best possible thing you can do. Try and get yourself comfortable.
I've just started that as well, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, it might take you time. It took me probably 6 months to find the right meditation audio that I needed. So the one I've sent you might not even work. It might work with someone else. I always try and get myself some water just to cool myself down. I have a fan blowing onto me. I have normally I'll put a mask on and stuff. This might sound quite severe, but that's how bad my panic attacks would be. But everyone's different in terms of how they deal with stuff. But the best, like I said, the best solutions or counters is, like Gareth said, the ones that you see everyone talking about. Like you'll when you go, if you ever end up under the mental health team or anything like that, they'll literally tell you, have you tried meditating? 'Cause
Yeah.
even though it sounds crazy to say it, but it works. Like it's absolutely nuts to think that sitting there closing your eyes and listening to something will actually help you, but it does. Because if you
Yeah.
get yourself that deep into it, which I've already had a few times, I remember the first time it ever happened to me. I had like an out of body experience, which again you can all sit here and laugh at me, but it's true. It happens. And I was sitting in my kitchen on the floor, and I closed my eyes and I was listening to the meditation song that I've got now that I've been listening to for 4 years, and I got that deep into listening to it. About 3 or 4 minutes into it, 5 minutes maybe, I literally felt like I was in the scenario that this person was painting for me in words. So it was about being on like a beach, like a desert island, like telling me to like feel the wind. I could feel
Mm.
it's so like it's just crazy, but it
Just
can
shows
work.
how powerful the brain is, though, doesn't it, lads?
It
You know
is,
what I
that's
mean?
what I
Something
mean.
as simple as that, which can work.
Yeah.
But you know, again, try anything and everything. It can't. You know what I mean? What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work. You're still feeling the same. Well, okay, you've ticked it off. Like, you know, it doesn't work. You can go about finding something else, or you know, whether it be some people go down CBD route. I have myself.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely helps from sort of like a sleeping point of view if you're in the midst of really struggling from time to time. So find the right concoction that works for you, or you know, helps you the most, and go from there. But don't give up trying different things, because you know there will be something out there that helps you get back on that ladder to where you want to be.
Yeah, one thing I will just touch on before we move on to the next question. Gareth said obviously with the CBD and stuff like that, which is fine, scientifically proven to help with mental health. One thing I will say is don't self-medicate with alcohol and drugs, because it won't work. That's exactly why I am as bad as what I was. Because for 12 months, I drank every single day, to the point where I become an alcoholic. You know, input Gareth's side joke early on to the podcast. And you don't want to do that. CBD gummies, like I said, do work. It's very unlikely that you get prescribed any type of medication like that off the doctor, but any good doctor will tell you that it can and does work.
Yeah. Any mental health nurse will probably put it forward as well, or any psychiatrist or anything like that.
I personally don't take any medication just because I've got a phobia, but you know, taking mental health medication, which is, you know, many different ones, is not always the best way to go about it, but definitely don't be scared to take it. Ironically, coming from me, if you're someone that is fine with taking medication, definitely try that as well. But many other things out there, like Gareth said, the CBDs are meant to be quite good as well. So make sure, most importantly, don't go to drinking drugs.
I was the same at the start of my journey, mate. I was, you know, 100% determined that I was going to do everything naturally, until it got to a point where I realised I couldn't.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like you've failed, or there should be a stigma around medication. You know, if you take painkillers because you got a headache, there's no stigma around that. So why should there be a stigma around taking medication for mental health?
Yeah, exactly. There shouldn't be any negatives towards it. If it doesn't work with you, then try something else. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But don't be someone that sits there and thinks, "Oh, I don't know about that." Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there's a reason why they've made it. It's to try and help people. But yeah, that's they're little pointers, little tips for you anyway. Whether it helps you or not will be a different question.
Let us know.
That was from Josh Jones. That question, by the way, I can't remember what it says. Next question: what was your favourite lessons in school?
The ones that have the supply teachers.
Yeah, basically the ones
that people's heads.
Yeah, basically the ones that you didn't have to anything.
Yeah.
You kind of actually discussed this question a little bit the other day, because we were going through some of them. But when I was younger, I really liked maths. Like when I was like really young, like 7, 8, 9. I don't know why, just like numbers. When I got to the age of about 12, 13, 14, I don't think I really enjoyed any lessons. I enjoyed the company of being in school. Ironically now, like a lot of people who are over the age of probably 25, maybe even younger, would probably love to go back to school for a little bit. And I don't think more so for the lessons. It's more so for the being with your mates, not having the worries that you have now, not having all the bills that you have to pay now. And one thing I will say is, like, again, it's probably very unrealistic that we're going to have anyone under the age of 16 listen to this. But if you are, enjoy your school, enjoy your childhood. Don't wish your life away, because it goes quickly, very, very quickly. I remember being 16 in house parties, taking countless amounts of drugs, and not giving a care in the world and living and loving life. Don't take drugs, they're bad for you, but that's what I did. And now
Drugs are bad.
yeah, I'm 29
I mean,
now, and I'm sitting here on a podcast talking about why my mental health has stopped me from going out the house.
he's still a hide and seek champion from 2016, by the way. No one's fucking found him. But just touching back on that, I think you know, moving forward, like there's I've completely forgot the question, to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna fucking lie.
What's your
My
favourite
head's
lesson
just
in
gone blank.
school?
That's the one. Fucking hell. I was gonna
Still
say
looking
without
for one
sounding,
about mental health.
my mind's playing fucking
Yeah,
hide and seek with me. Yeah, like it's cliche, and you've probably heard old people say it all the time. I'm not saying we're old, by the way, because we're definitely not. But they're the best days of your life. Enjoy them.
You're
Like,
older.
and I'm sure, yeah, I am older, and I've had harder paper rounds as well. But you know, can't have it all, can you, lads? You know what I mean? But yeah, I suppose a lot of our audience will be sat there nodding, saying the same thing. So, yeah, I think the teachers had a lot to do with the lessons as well. You know, which was your favourite?
Yeah,
It could
definitely.
be a shite subject, but if the teacher was half all right, you know what I mean? It'd take it from like a 4 out of 10 to a 6 or a 7.
100%.
I'd go for PE though. Favourite, I think PE. I quite like graphics in the last few years. I took that as an option. Which was obviously something a little bit different. BTEC sport, stuff like that. Yeah, probably the usual laddie things, but in terms of your science and stuff like that,
I wasn't interested. It's ironic now as you get older, you probably start getting more interested. Like I'll sit there and watch mad videos about like history and science, like when I'm on YouTube, like tonight when I can't sleep.
Yeah, but who wants to sit there in a classroom like fucking about with frog sperm and stuff like that, lads?
Yeah, or Henry VIII or something like that. But I think
Henry
as you get
VIII from
older,
Frog
you start enjoying things more, don't you? Like in terms of like stuff that you don't enjoy when you're a kid.
I mean, in our school, I mean, one of the ones I didn't like was geography, and I think the main reason was, and I will name drop her because she gave me my first fucking detention as well. Her name was Miss McGimpsey, and she was one of the biggest fucking gimps going, lads.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah. Yeah, as we mentioned in the first podcast, me and Gareth went to school together for a couple of years, so we will know some of the teachers that we're talking about. Some of them we won't. But yeah, I left school when I was 14, so I didn't really get much time in terms of high school. I didn't get a chance to do my options or anything like that.
Rebel.
Yeah, little bastard when I was younger. But yeah.
What do you mean when you were younger?
But yeah, I agree with you. It definitely, depending on what who the teacher is, definitely helps. I think with PE as well, I loved PE when I was doing sport. I liked doing. I never wanted to do like cross country or anything like that. But if we were doing, I don't know why, but I like trampoline a little bit when we were younger because you just be able to do backflips and shit.
Lad. I nearly paralysed myself in year 9 doing trampoline, and you know, like I'm not the most flexible person in the world. I can't stand with straight legs and touch my toes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, the belly I've grew over the last few years probably doesn't help that. But if I try and do Miami's are basically going. Miami's probably like Reece James is just about to twang at any point. You know what I mean? But oh yeah, lad, this one's in trampoline, they're teaching all these things, and everyone's doing this and that. And I mean, don't be wrong, it was all right, like, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Have a little fuck about, have a laugh. But when you go to do a full front drop and you feel your toes, which are 6 foot 1 inches away from your head, touch the back of your fucking head, and your back feels like it's in about 3,000 pieces, you don't like trampolining for much longer. Do you know what I mean? I got fucking carried out of that school. I had to go A&E and everything to have me fucking back checked over. Fucking hellfire. Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? It was probably. I probably went into a state of shock. You know when you just know something's not right. Like fucking hell, that weren't meant to happen. Literally, me feet touched the back of my head, lads. And if you're trying to picture it now and you're laughing your tits off, then go fuck yourselves.
Have you ever broke a bone?
Touch wood, I haven't, lad, no. I haven't.
No, I broke my toe.
Nothing severe anyway. I've had ingrown toenails and my big toes. Like I had to go to school with a sandal on one of my feet once.
One of my brother has an ingrown toenail. To get it,
fucking heavy then.
To get it removed.
Oh, bastards.
Right, next question is going to be a football-based one. I think we've got 2 here. Harry Kane, is he a curse for trophies? Last question was by Peter Elliott, by the way, and this one right now is by Stephen Joyce. If you don't want your name,
Southgate should fuck him off then.
If you don't want your name read now for your questions, let us know. But we're always going to try and read everyone's names out just to, highlight who's being an absolute legend and sending them in. But yeah, do you reckon, like, literally his first game, let's be serious, Bayern Munich are the best team in Germany.
Yeah,
Should be beating
I agree.
Leipzig. And the first game that he plays, they get beat. And the first game is a chance to win a trophy. Now, don't get me wrong, he didn't come on to like the 60th or the 70th minute, but is he a curse or like is it just, people waffling shite?
It might be them new Skechers boots that he's wearing, lads. You never know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh,
If
lad.
you haven't seen it,
These aren't they?
he's been sponsored by Skechers or something.
A lifetime deal to wear Skechers boots, lads. He will do fucking anything for money. All of them will. Absolute mercenaries. But
Would I?
Well,
I mean, listen, wearing a
not,
pair of Skechers.
Not stuff I can say that's going to go on the internet.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, wearing a pair of Skechers is nothing compared to what I do for fucking 20 quid. You know what I mean?
I know what you have done for 20 quid.
But,
yeah,
to make the question a bit more serious, you think he'll win his first trophies this season?
Of course he will. If I mean, don't be wrong. I know it took it to the last day of last season by Munich, and they ran close by Dortmund. But it was a Dortmund who were inspired by Jude Bellingham, who's now no longer there. But
I know
there was a bit of unrest as well, wasn't there? There was unrest in Bayern's camp with Sadio Mane, Leroy Sané, all that bollocks. But
change of manager as well.
Yeah, if he goes there, Ladman doesn't come back with a couple of trophies, then yeah, he might as well call it a fucking day, hadn't he?
Yeah. I've said this last week, I think, on the podcast, or I said it on stream. I think he'll win a few trophies, come back, and still beat the record for the most goals.
Potentially. What is he behind Shearer? Is it like 50 odd?
Like 56 or something, I think it is.
So realistically, 3 seasons, yeah.
He's only 30 now, say he goes there for 3 years, comes back. He doesn't seem like the type of player that is going to suffer from. He'll be able to play till he's in like his late 30s, I think, because of the way he is.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he does have his injury problems as well, though, doesn't he? So you'll have to see. But for me, I mean, he's played at the highest level now for the last decade, just shy, just
8 years, something like that.
So go and win some trophies, lad. Like bollocks to what they're all saying, and go and enjoy yourself in Germany.
And he will win trophies as well.
Get some German sausage inside you, lad.
Yeah, what she said. Right, next one. Stephen Joyce said, should they remake Guitar Hero?
Fuck off. Guitar Hero. I can imagine Steve playing that in his living room, to be honest.
Yeah. Imagine him trying to sing the words with it, though.
Like a better hell, have we gone when the money comes?
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'll put my hand up. I've never played Guitar Hero in my life. I wouldn't care if they brought it back or not. I'm not gonna lie. If you like Guitar Hero and you play it, then yeah, I hope they bring it back for your sake because it'll make you happy. But I couldn't give 2 fucks whether they did or not.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Yeah. Very shit. Right, this one's from Peter. We've got 2. We're gonna go with the absolute pièce de résistance that we say on stream all the time. How many bits of Lego can you fit up your ass? How many bits of Lego could you fit up your ass?
Lengthways, sideways, any way you want to ways.
Listen, Lego comes in many different shapes and sizes, and so do arseholes. So that's your decision and your choice, mate. I don't know if your ass is like a fucking tiny little screw hole, or whether it's like a fucking wizard sleeve. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, listen, my little fucking knotted balloon is well intact, lad. Thank you very much. I mean, I don't know what it looks like when a fucking big lengthy log's flying out of it, but I've never tried to put Lego up there, to be fair. I mean,
on a serious note, if you had to pick pieces of Lego, the easiest things that would go up was probably like the little Lego men's heads, wouldn't it? Like, I reckon I could plug hundreds of them up there.
You reckon?
Nothing else. Yeah, lad, they're like that big, tiny. Like this,
hundreds?
Like small, half the size of your little fingernail. Yeah. And then just get someone to pick it up and shake you like a maraca.
Have they all got smiley faces on them as well, or?
Yeah. When they go in, not when they come out.
Like they go in yellow, come out looking like they've worked in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yeah. Chocolate bukkake.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal with Stephen when he has a go and gives us his number. Was it Stephen or Peter?
Peter this time, yeah.
Once P's had a go And we've got evidence of that, by the way, not just throwing random numbers out there like 95 or something like that.
We want video evidence, but someone else has got to watch it for us.
And if he doesn't get that 95 reference, then he's a tit.
Yeah. Right, next question. This is a good one. If you could have, I'm gonna change this. So he said, this is Peter again. If you could have dinner with 5 celebs, who would they be and why? But I'm gonna expand it to dead or alive. So 5 celebs, you're having a scran or a drink, going out for a bevy, or you're having a scran, dead or alive. Who would they be? 5.
And is it just a scran or a bevy where you've gotten a lot of time there and then you all go your separate ways at the end, or is one coming back?
No,
with a little drinky poos, or
no. They're
just all jumping in separate Ubers at the end.
You're going to a Wetherspoons and you've got a table booked for 2 hours
with Sandro Tonali.
I mean, yeah, he might be there getting himself a nice little glass of milk or something.
I mean, for me, everyone's probably guessed the first one's defo going to be Jurgen. I could sit and listen to the fella for hours, to be fair. So,
actually, I'm going to change the question again.
I'm
going to change the question again. 1 football manager, maximum. 1 football player, maximum present, and 1 football player. Like, you can have a player from the past, a player from the present, and a manager from the present. So, because I don't want you, I don't want it Gerrard, Klopp, and Carragher or something. I want sort of a bit different.
To be fair, we had enough of Carragher on the fucking tally as it is, don't we? But I'd go for Jurgen, and not even necessarily. His philosophy behind things and the way he thinks about things. And life in general.
Like, as much as I don't drink, like, he'd be boss to have a pint with as well, wouldn't he?
100%, yeah. I'm sure you could get that fucking jaw swinging with Jurgen as well, like, to be fair. But no, I'm sure in terms of his morals, principles, his philosophies around certain things, I think he's just a sound fella, and there's obviously a lot of you that will watch this and will strongly disagree. Again, go fuck yourselves. So he's my current manager. What am I allowed? The current player and a former player?
Yeah. When I say former player, like, you don't have to be dead either. Just a former player, one that's retired or not alive.
To be honest, the current ones again, I'll go for someone who every other fan base thinks is little bastards, and I'll go Andy Robertson because I just think he's a funny little cunt and he comes across dead well, and I think you could sit down, have a little laugh with him, and rip him in about his little dodgy Scottish accent and stuff like that. So Jurgen, Robbo, coming away from the football like every lad who was born early 90s. I'm pretty sure we went through a phase of late 90s, early 2000s where we really loved the WWE or WWF as it was called.
Not personally, no.
Oh, why are you lying for, lad?
I didn't mind it, but I wouldn't sit there and, like, if my brother was watching it, I'd watch it, but I wouldn't, like,
religiously.
Yeah, it was all right. Like,
I mean, the fellow I'm going to talk about, you're going to know anyway, and he's done a lot since then, would be Dwayne Johnson, who's the Rock in the wrestling. Again, anyone in that area who's probably sort of the idol growing up, and I think you look at some of you look at what he's done with his life for kickoff, starting from absolutely fuck all.
I'm not like a massive wrestling fan, but everyone knows, like, the Rock, like, raised eyebrow and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And, like,
people's elbow.
Yeah, everyone knows, like, the roles and stuff he's done in, like, all the movies. He's iconic, isn't he?
I think, like I say, what he's done from fuck all to what he is now, worth multiple millions of pounds. He's and the stuff he gives back now. You always see things on social media where he's buying people houses or new cars, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not stuff he has to do, and don't get me wrong, a lot of it, helps with his PR and stuff like that. But again, if it was that easy, they'd all be doing it. But it's, it's because he wants to do it ultimately. So I'd chuck him on the table. So we've got a good mix there, I think, with them three. They have to have a bit of eye candy. I mean, as nice as Jurgen's smile is, you know what I mean? I don't have to be staring at that for 3 hours. So from that point of view, I would go for, I'll tell you what, I'll go for someone who's there right now. Margot Robbie. She's fucking top of the street at the minute, isn't she, with the Barbie and all that bollocks. A film she was in with Will Smith, I'm not sure when it come out, it was Focus. It's a few years old now, like it's a boss film. I'm not a massive film person, but that was a good watch. So I'll chuck her in there. I'm sure she's got a few stories to tell.
Can I just put something out there, by the way? Can everyone in the comments on Spotify or YouTube can put comments on Spotify as well? All rinse Gareth because he's never seen Breaking Bad. I have to put that out there before you go on to your next one. So make sure you tell him how much of a dickhead he is. And
if you haven't seen it, tell Nathan how much of a dickhead he is as well. You know what I mean?
Right, next person.
And my last one.
Margot Robbie, Andy Robbo, Jurgen Klopp, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Who's your last one?
You know what? I'm going to chuck in. I'm not going to surprise you because I'm not going to go for a former Liverpool player now because that's just boring. That's just fucking too cliche. But someone who works well with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and would be very fucking funny to sit around the table with would be Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
he's small. He's small. He's black.
Yeah,
he's built like a pop. He's fucking. I mean, don't be wrong. I don't love his stand up, by the way. I must admit, but in terms of just as a person who works instinctively and throws stuff out there, he's superb. And I think them two together, not a bad little mix there. I think they'd struggle maybe understanding Robbo's accent a little bit, but
and Jurgen,
I think I'd be all right there. To be fair, I think I'd have a good time. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Margot Robbie would pick me to go home with out of all them on that table.
No,
but you know,
Dwayne, wouldn't it? Or
depends what she's into, isn't she? She might love lashing cans of 𝕊𝕓𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕒 up, lad. You never know.
Fucking hell. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to give you my 5 now because mine's better.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to say Jurgen as well. I feel like he's just so intriguing. And he comes across like a proper, just normal person. I know people, if you support Liverpool, you'd absolutely love him because he's just a legend. I don't just mean in terms of what he's done with the football club, I mean stuff outside of that as well. He gets the club, he gets the city, he gets everything. So, he would be someone that would sit there. He could, but the people you've just said there, Jurgen's the only one there I could see in a kitchen, 6 o'clock in the morning, pitch black outside, ciggy in one hand, pint in the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Robbo will be a kid by then. The other ones will be somewhere. They're off to LA already. Do you know what I mean? He would be there. You know what I mean?
Jurgen gets everything: the city, the club, the people. The only thing he doesn't get is fucking transfer targets.
Exactly. Yeah, Chelsea get them. So Jurgen number 1, number 2. I'd have to go with Paul Gascoigne. I just part of me wishes I was 10 years older, so I got to see him a little bit more as a footballer. I think we don't really know much of him. I genuinely can't think of ever watching him live. Not off the top of my head.
Same, yeah.
Not going to sit here and lie and pretend to do, but I've seen so many clips of him, seen videos. I've heard jokes from other footballers. I've heard scenarios that he's been in where, he's done certain things. I've met him in real life. He seemed all right. He was a nice person.
Where was that?
Vauxhall Motors against Kettering when he was the manager in 2007 or something.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Yeah, got his autograph, got my program signed and that. But yeah, he seemed all right. He was, and all the stories that you hear about him, I'd love him to be there. I think that he'd be a laugh. It's a pity the way that his life's drawn out in terms of I don't think he got enough help and protection when he was younger because he was that era's, Jude Bellingham in a sense, do you know what I mean? And Steven Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes. Some people say within the last 40 years he's been England's best or most gifted player. So he'd be number 2. Number 3, I'd go for Denzel Washington.
Okay.
In terms of acting a serious role, there's no one better. I don't think so anyway. You could probably throw a few more out there, maybe Morgan Freeman and that, but just so the way he acts, I just don't think he's like that at all. But he just comes across like he'd be like a proper family man, but someone who'd have so many stories to tell before he got into all the acting and before he got famous and that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's had a walk in the park and to get to where he is. I feel like he's probably had it hard maybe to get there. Maybe number
the way
3.
he's had to climb to the top, yeah.
Number 4, I would go with something a little bit mad. This is a mad one, yeah, and people will think why, because I'm not a massive fan of these. Well, I'm not a fan at all of it, of the establishment, but I'd have the Queen there. Because I would, lad, yeah. It sounds, this is crazy, I know. The reason why is because...
You all right?
Yeah, listen, you know, once all this has ended, this 2 hours in the Wetherspoons, everyone goes back to where they're from and where they are. At the end of the day, she's no longer with us anymore. And
I'm concerned about you now.
nothing's nothing's off the bar. You know.
Do you want to send me? Do you want to send me an inbox? Are you all right?
Listen, I just want to know what happened to Princess Diana, and I want to know stuff, and she's got answers, and it fascinates me. I don't believe in the establishment at all. I don't think we need a royal family, but it like I feel like because of her age, and because of she for me is the last of that era of old-fashioned royal family, but she was there that long, and it intrigues me that I just want to know what it was like, her getting like given the crown and becoming the queen, and like was it the 50s or the 40s? Again, like I said,
she's not going to tell you how they fucking did Diana though, in lads.
She will, because once listen, it's my rules, lad. My rules.
Is it your rules? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if she says no, after 10 Jaeger bombs, you think she's not going to tell me that?
Do you reckon she'll let you rub a crown?
Are you messing? Every
You're going to let her rub yours?
Lots of balloon, everything.
Sticking a little men's heads up her ass and that.
on a serious note, I feel like there's many people, like even Hitler. Like Hitler's not a good person, but like he's my fifth person actually. I'd have Hitler, because it intrigues me that like some of these nasty people. I'm not saying the Queen was nasty, by the way. I don't know whether she is or not, but I'm just intrigued to know what it was like to live that life.
Pete Price there as well, lad.
Lizard. But it does. It massively intrigues me, lads. Like I feel like with yours, you know, the lives of like the Queen and Hitler and stuff. It's just like I think it's kind of impossible to know what they were really like. I feel like you can get a good picture of what like maybe The Rock was, or Margaret Robbie, or Robbie, whatever the name is, or like what's it? Who else you have?
Robbo, Jürgen, and what's his face, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. I feel like they're ones that you can kind of like. I want to know why.
I'm not asked. 90 years ago, to be fair, that's probably where I've come from. I'd rather sit there, have a good laugh. You know what I mean?
I get it, yeah, and I understand that, and I feel like that can happen as well with a few other people. But I'm intrigued to know things that like it's impossible for us to find out. Like it's possible for me.
Funny, yeah, you lad sat with the Queen and Hitler.
Listen, imagine it though. Imagine sitting there with the Queen, Hitler, Denzel Washington, Paul Gascoigne, and Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen's just sat there smiling at everything.
Imagine walking into Wetherspoons and seeing that. Imagine you've had 10, 15 pints, you've been on a shot, you've been on the Charlie, and everything. You walk in and you just see the Queen sitting there with Paul Gascoigne and Jurgen Klopp. Your head would just fucking explode.
Fucking Lizzie bouncing around to fucking, don't you know, Pompeo?
Yeah. Bit of Jamie Webster on the fucking jukebox singing.
Jamie, lads.
Know what I mean?
Did I pointless these bands there? Or should we kill all the Jews, my friend?
Mine will be different. Yours massively different. Yours are more people in the public eye that are like out there. Mine are as well. But I mean, I just feel like
mine are more to me interest rather than wanting to know why certain things took place. You know what I mean?
Interest, lads. Mine would be like I'd pick singers and like musicians and footballers. You know what I mean? Because that's
might invite me brother, Ed Sheeran. Didn't know that, did you?
Yeah, let us know on either platform. Who would your 5 celebs be and why? Right, we're on to the last question now, and this is actually the last part of the podcast.
Would you have the McCanns at yours?
No. They would only count as as well.
Why wouldn't you have them?
Because you'd just be getting fed lies.
Yeah, but imagine how much of a bill you could rack up and they could just make it go missing.
There you go, yeah.
Didn't think of that, did you?
No. Right, last question. This one is a double question. And like 2 questions put into one from 2 different people. From Ashley and Luke. If you was the head of recruiting for Liverpool and were given we offered 110 million for Caicedo, who would you get and why with that budget? So 110 million, who would you get and why? And then Ashley's also asked, who would you go to number 6 be? So I'm going to integrate them questions into one. 110 million, because that's supposedly what we offer for 𝕊𝕐𝕳. We're going to ignore that we've signed Endo, and you're still going to have 110 million, but you need to buy a number 6 as well. Who would you be and why? Who would you go for?
It's tough, innit? Fucking hell. Don't get me wrong, we're not with option A now, are we? We are having to drop down the ladder a little bit. I think I do like the 𝕊𝕐𝕳 at Palace.
Yeah.
In this current market, you're probably going to be paying upwards of 60 for him, which is just mad. But what can you do? What can you do with the market? It is what it is. So he's obviously a name that's out there at the minute and sort of does stand out. I'd love to see us now utilise what we've got, but go out and still get a statement midfielder. Not even necessarily a number 6. If we went out and got a statement midfielder and then utilised Trent in that sort of inverted full role.
Who's that? Who's the statement midfielder that we're going to go and buy? Got 110 million.
I'd love to see 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕥𝕒 come in as well.
Yeah,
I must admit. And I know we've got 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕥𝕒, McAllister and that as well now, but you need strength and depth, you know what I mean? And nothing to say that 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕥𝕒 is going to give you 58 out of 10 performances all season or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we need to go and get a couple in. So if whether it's the 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕥𝕒 at Palace or go and get a 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕥𝕒 or something like that, and then someone who can learn from. I think obviously we fucked it with Lavia, messing about with a couple of million quid, which we discussed last week.
Yeah.
But lad, your guess is as good as mine with Liverpool right now in terms of who could be coming through that door next. We've sold Hendo and we're bringing in fucking Endo, so says it all.
I don't know as well. 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕥𝕒 is obviously someone that's been linked. One thing I will say is positives are going for him. It costs less money than what it would for Caicedo. I believe he's more experienced. When I say I believe, I know he's more experienced than Lavia. They seem to have been our 2 best options. I just think that certain players don't get the hype or exposure because of who they play for. Last season, Brighton were fantastic. That's why Caicedo was probably seen as being a very, very good player now as well, because he was a key part of it. Last season, towards the end of the season, when Hodgson come in, Palace looked very good as well. They've got some really good players. Their midfield
They very well at Anfield as well, to be fair. When Palace come to Anfield, I remember seeing that.
Statistically, 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕒𝕒 and Caicedo are similar. So you definitely want to go for. The only problem I've got now is, again, I've got a £110 million budget. This is not really probably what's going to happen. Being, talking in if, buts and maybes, not Sadio Mane's.
Sadio Mane's, lad.
𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕒 for me is probably going to be quite expensive, because I think Palace are going to see us coming from a mile off, knowing that we need that type of player. I think Endo actually helps us in terms of the buy-in, because Liverpool could go, well, we've already got one now. He's Japanese captain, Frankfurt captain. We're not in panic mode. I don't think we are as much as what we were before getting Endo. Based on the fact that we didn't have a 6 and now we have it, he can play centre back as well. But I think 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕒, if we want to go for, if we could get him for like 60 million at the most, and anyone listening to this now, if you don't know how good he is or anything, don't just knock what we're saying in terms of value. This is what they're going to demand for him. Lavia's 19. He's had 1 season in Premier League football, and he's literally just signed for Chelsea for 58 million. Unfortunately, it's not just Liverpool getting rinsed. This is just a market for midfielders nowadays. You know what I mean? Declan Rice was 105 or something. Enzo Fernandez pretty much the same. It's just the way it is now. Caicedo 115. Tonali 60. So I'll probably go with him, and I think we need a centre back. 𝕊𝕐𝕳𝕒𝕒 is a good one. He's just signed a new contract today. His release clause has gone from like 39 million euros to like 60 million euros. But I'd love us to go for.
That'd be such a Liverpool thing to do now, lads. Just pay an extra 20 million quid, and they could have signed him 2 weeks ago.
Do you know what the mad thing is, though? I wouldn't care, because we just need to do it.
Yeah, we've fucked ourselves this summer, royally fucked ourselves, and they need to get someone in after this Schmidt fella goes, with a proper vision and a proper plan, and sort of. It kills me to say it, and again, it depends how these next couple of weeks go, but get through this season, try and get in that back in the Champions League, and
I don't think we need to get through the season. I feel like we are good enough to do more than just get through the season.
No, that was probably sort of wrong wording, but in terms of, I don't think what we've got there currently is going to be good enough to get close to City.
No, but I think finishing second or third, I don't believe that's just getting through the season. Depending on the context of how we finish, though. You know what I mean?
But look where we've come from, though, lads. It was only fucking 12 months ago. We were on the verge of a quadruple.
I get that, and I agree with you 1,000,000%. But ultimately, we have changed. I get that. But getting through the season for me is doing what Man United or Newcastle did last season. Just getting top 4. Liverpool, I don't want Liverpool to be doing that. If Liverpool do that, just go through the season. You know what I mean?
I don't want us to do, but I think it, with the strength in and around us now and what teams have spent.
Do you believe Chelsea are a better team than us?
I wouldn't say they're a better team, no, because it's a lot more new individuals put together. But who knows what they could look like in 3 months' time, lads? Once they've settled in.
Based on what we know right now, would you bank us to beat them in terms of in the table, finish higher?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man United.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 teams out the equation if you think we're going to finish above them. Aston Villa, they've got a short chance.
Yeah, of course we should be finishing, but again, like I say, if that's taken to, if we finish third, fucking 20 odd points behind City, it's not good enough, is it? Do you know what I mean?
That will happen, though.
It's a massive drop off in the space of 18 months.
That is what will happen. We're going to finish behind City by quite a bit, and we're going to get top 3. That's what I think is going to happen. And as much as I agree with you in saying that, that shouldn't be what we're aiming for, which ultimately it shouldn't be. Trent had an interview after the game the other day. He's Chelsea, and he said, our target this season is to try and win a title, which is exactly what it should be. Being realistic, it probably won't happen, but we should still be doing that at the end of the day. You can only beat what's in front of you, and I believe that we can beat every single team in the league, apart from maybe City at the Etihad.
Yeah.
There'll be a few other tough games away from home that'll be hard, but I believe that we are good enough to beat every single team. And the only team I worry about in the sense of we could lose our way is City at their ground. Even Arsenal last season at their ground when they were playing really well. There's a couple of dubious decisions that favoured them in the result, you know what I mean? I think Newcastle will do quite well this season, but I don't know how well they're going to do in terms of once the season's proper up and going and teams are up to scratch.
Jurgen needs to find an 11 over the next few weeks or say after the transfer window shut. Sort of stick with it, get a bit of consistency in the team. I mean, they're sort of going from last season into last weekend, they're 12 unbeaten, I think, in the Premier League now. Yeah. 7 wins, 5 draws, I think. So yeah, just getting that consistency back and let's move forward. But like I say, I'm not expecting what I should be expecting from Liverpool this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's one thing people need to take into consideration as well, though. Liverpool have got the longest unbeaten run in the league. I know it might not be something to jump and shout about, but it's something that you have to try and keep progressing with. At the end of the day, we know that we need another number 6, but ultimately now we're in a better position today than what we were 3 days ago. We've got someone else in. If he's going to be a utility player and he can play to the standard he has played for the last couple of years in Germany, then we should be fine. But yeah, that is the last question that we've got. Exactly answered it, but we had a little bit of a discussion about what we would want to do and also the state that Liverpool are in. And that's going to be the end of the podcast as well. But it's been a little bit of a different one. Like I said, it might have been more. This might have been a little bit more raw in the sense of how we've might have overspoken a few times, and I apologise, but we're still learning. Gareth's never done anything like this before. I've done stuff in terms of speaking to a camera, but never with somebody else to have to, determine when to talk and when not to talk. There'll be
tell you to fucking shut up.
Exactly. There'll be times where it doesn't sound great, times when it does. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to run the podcast in a sense of segments about, we could get a couple of months into it and decide that we don't think the predictions are very good and we might stop that. We're just trying to find a format that works for us, but ultimately something that you will listen to or want to listen to. If you have any suggestions, like I said, you can comment on the podcast on any platform it's uploaded to. We're trying to get it onto Apple Sounds as well, which is something that we're going to try and sort out soon. But ultimately, it's going to be on Spotify. You can comment on there. You can also make sure you rate the podcast. You can only do it if you are a Spotify premium member. But if you are, make sure you do it. Yeah.
We've had a lot of positive feedback, haven't we? Following last week's episode, appreciate it from all of you who watched it. We exceeded what we expected in terms of plays and listens on Spotify. And then obviously it went onto the YouTube on Sunday. Not too sure on the YouTube figures, but in terms of Spotify, we were made up. Keep going, keep engaging. We will get better. We'll produce better content for you. We'll have better ideas. We'll have better setups. But we can only do that if we've got the engagement from yourselves. So, thank you very much.
Yeah. Say what Gareth said. Yeah, keep going with the engagement, giving us questions, debates, topics. Give us some feedback. Like I said, comments, YouTube, Spotify, social medias, which are going to be at the bottom of the screen right now. Which they should have been there for the whole stream as well. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify. Like I said, if you're a Spotify premium member, click the three little dots. You can rate us 5 stars. Please do that. It does help. We'll probably put a poll up on this as well. We put one up on the last one. I think it was who's going to win the league. We'll probably go down a different route this time, something completely different to football. Answer the poll. Subscribe on YouTube. Drop a like. Share it. Tag your mates. Give us some feedback. And that is going to be the end. I hope you enjoyed it. And Gareth, thank you very much for joining me today.
No problem, mate. Again, anything mental health, don't forget, drop us a line if you need to be.
See you later, everyone.
Take it easy.